Arslanian, and my passion and my focus in life is the future of money. I have to say I'm very excited to be here. I don't do a lot of, I'm very picky on the events that I speak to, but I have to say I'm so excited to be here today. As an Armenian man, I'm the first one to admit that when we think about asymmetrical power, our secret advantage that we have as a country and our nation, and our secret weapon, it's Armenian women. And I look forward to the day where something like Digin Nakharar is not a TV series, but having the majority of our cabinet is actually the reality, and even having Digin Varchabed is actually not a theoretical topic, but something that we have on a daily basis. So guys, thank you very much for having me with you all today. My goal today is very, very simple. As we think about the future of the country, there's one very important thing, which is the future of money and the future of finance. And my goal today is I want to share with you some of the latest developments we are seeing in the field of cryptocurrencies, from Web3 to NFTs, and hopefully empower you with this information, and then let you make your own decision on what their impact could be on you, on your companies, but also on more holistically on society and business in general. I was very lucky they introduced me as an expert, but let me give you a first piece of advice. I've been in crypto since 2014. I'm full-time in this space in 2016, and I can tell you, I have absolutely no idea where this industry will be 1 month from now. If you want to go be in an industry, where on Friday you go home with your kids, enjoy a good time, do not get into crypto. This is an industry that operates 24/7, that operates at dog years, where a week in this space is like 7 weeks in a normal world. And this is today why I want to share with you some of the big developments I have in the next 10 minutes on only 3 topics. On Web3, of course, on DeFi, but also stable coins, and hopefully share the impact with you all. But before we talk about the future of money, it's important to take a step back and think about actually the history of money. Today, if you ask any good economist, what is money? They will only give us 3 definitions: a unit account, a medium of exchange, and a store of value. But how we define money has changed over the years. Back in the day, for example, it used to be cattle. The word capital actually comes from cattle. We evolved over the years to using salt. Salt was used as money. When you get your salary every month, it comes from the word saltius, which means salt, which was used for a long time. Bucks. When your American friends tell you, I'll give you $2, $5, it actually comes from good old bucks. And it goes on and on. Cacaos. Across Latin America, one of the most used forms of money was cacao beans. And the first examples of forgery that we have, where forgers took the cacao beans, took out the cacao, put some mud, and started mixing it with the real cacao. To other examples we had over years of probably the most successful form of money in history. Good old cowrie shells. Used across Africa for centuries. The Chinese character even for money, bei, comes from it. The currency of Ghana, the cedi, is actually literally based on this as well. And then we went on. The Chinese came up with the first crypto, with the first coins. By the way, for collectors like us, it's very difficult. The Chinese were one of the few that never had pictures of leaders or emperors on the coins. Then obviously we started having what we call seigniorage on the economics perspective, where I can actually put a face of a leader or a central bank, and the money is worth more. For example, this 20,000 banknote here does not cost 20,000 drams to make. And this is what we call seigniorage in financial terms, which allows basically to create money. And who figured this out? It was actually in the Lydian Empire, not far from Armenia, where we started having standardization of money, which gave rise to commerce. You didn't need to weight your gold before. And by the way, do you know what are the 2 businesses that were created as soon as we started having money? Gambling and prostitution, which is very interesting. Obviously, then we started having the first paper banknotes in China. Things started continuing evolving. We had actually the wampums, which were actually legal tender when the Americas were being created or being discovered. To having the first banknotes, the greenback. Why is it called greenback? Because we figured at a time nobody will ever be able to print in green in color, so it'll be difficult to forge. To, of course, having money being backed by gold, which was the case for a long time. And then obviously some of the big meetings that we had at the end of the Second World War, where some of the biggest institutions we have today, from the World Bank or the IMF, were created at this particular meeting where we decided the US dollar was going to be the reserve currency of the world. But also things changed. We got rid of the US dollar. for the gold standard. So all money that you have today is backed literally by your faith in your government. Or as it's written on the banknotes, in God you trust. Things evolved, we had digital payments over the years, and then in 2008 on Halloween Day, this one 8-page document circulates by someone, a woman, a man, we don't know, called Satoshi Nakamoto, where for the first time we're able to send value from one person to another with no intermediaries. And why this is important, because this industry now is worth over $1 trillion, but what we define as money and having value has changed over the years. And now it brings to where we are today, with some of the developments we're having right now. Fields, for example, stable coins. Tomorrow, for example, if I give you Bitcoin, you'll be very happy. But you don't know what the price of that Bitcoin will be a week, a month, a year from now. What we came up with are the concept of stable coins, which are digital currencies backed by good old fiat money, central bank money. If I give you a $1 in stable coin, it's worth $1 today, next week, and next month. But you'll say, come on, what's the point? Why do we need this? What does it matter? Actually, what you realize with this, it actually has a lot of benefits. For example, if you try to send money from Armenia to the US, for example, on a Sunday, it doesn't work. I don't know, maybe my bank goes to church. You realize actually with stable coins, you can make transfers around the world 24/7 instantaneous for almost no fee. Anybody that has tried to send money, take Armenia for example, knows how much everybody's getting ripped off by sending money and the fees that you pay for sending money around the world. And these are all things that we're able to change when it comes to stable coins. For example, today the average fee of sending money around the world is 7%. And that is in the G20. You move out of the G20, it's often double digits. And this is something that we're able to change. And today, we have over $140 billion in stable coins. And the question is, to put things in perspective, we're having now central banks worry about it. Because if today you don't trust your central bank, ask all of our Armenian friends in Lebanon, in Syria, in Argentina, in Turkey, you start using other currencies. But if it's difficult with paper banknotes, it becomes way easier when you're dealing with actually digital currencies. And the big question actually for all of us is what impact can this have on the future of money? When actually moving to digital assets becomes so easy. But that's the asset. What about the financial services? You all have bank accounts. You try to all deal with financial services. One of the big developments today we're seeing today is the rise of DeFi, decentralized finance, which is the use of financial services with no intermediaries. That means you're able to get all the financial services you get today with zero intermediaries. You're only dealing with smart contract code. That's it. And you'll say, come on, Henry, what is this stupidity? I mean, who's using this? Well, a lot of people. Today, the total value that we have in DeFi is around $50 billion. It used to be around $200 billion about a year ago. But what's important? On January 1, 2020, there was less than $1 billion in DeFi in the world. And now we're already at 50x that amount. And what this allows is pretty much all the services that we have today, from lending, borrowing, asset management, are available in a completely decentralized world. And what's amazing here, it allows us to completely rethink financial services. It allows us to have everything in DeFi as open source, as I can take any application that I want in DeFi, put them together, and come up with my own solution. Today, if you like your Armenia Bank app, or you like your other money transfer app, Idram, you cannot put them together. Each company privately keeps its IP. But the beauty of DeFi is all of us at FemInno today, we can come up and build a DeFi app, for example, for the female community of Armenia. And actually, it's permissionless. Today, if you have the bad luck of having born in Iran, or born in Syria, or Lebanon, the one thing you have no control in your life is where you're born, you're pretty much excluded from the rest of financial services. If you're with some of the Armenians we know who just have bad luck, they live in Russia, who probably hate the government there, but they're still not able to travel and not able to access a lot of the financial services. And that's the beauty of DeFi, that it genuinely allows us to rethink how we're delivering financial services. The question is, DeFi is here to stay, and it's growing very quickly. There's a very active Web3 DeFi community in Armenia. Is this an opportunity when we think about our asymmetrical powers and things that we can develop to look at? And I'll finish it off with the broader Web3 community. This is obviously a big topic of the day today, and obviously when we think about the evolution of the internet, As Rev mentioned at the beginning, we started with the internet, the good old yellow pages we used to use, to moving to a 2.0 ecosystem, where the ecosystem is controlled by large centralized players. Today, for example, somebody like me, I have over 500,000 followers on LinkedIn alone. My show is #1 in the world in finance on LinkedIn. The day LinkedIn doesn't want me, they can cut me out. YouTube doesn't want me. By the way, I get a lot of attacks from some of our neighboring countries. I can get cut out. I've done 6 or 7 years. For the last day, I produce data on a daily count basis, and I have no more control on it. The beauty of Web3 allows us to actually own our data. What if when you're watching a YouTube video, why are you not being compensated for your time? And you'll be able to monetize this. And you'll be able to actually compensate for the time and energy you're spending on this. And you add on top of all these Web3 developments, everything coming on the Metaverse we discussed today. The one thing I'll say, I don't want to touch more on the Metaverse, but actually the Metaverse is not a new concept. Many of these Metaverse communities have been around for many years, like games like Second Life, where during the day I could be a boring hedge fund manager, but at night I can become this DJ with long hair and earrings. To actually probably video games. Many of the big video games we have today, from Counter-Strike to World of Warcraft, have often dozens of millions of monthly active users or on their own ecosystems on their own. And of course, the way we change the experience, how we're delivering art, to business meetings, to how we're having day-to-day interactions, will have to change a lot. The Metaverse is a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity that is up for grabs. And the question is, many countries are moving into it. We just had the country of Barbados become the first country to set up an embassy in the Metaverse. PwC, the firm where I used to be a partner, became the first accounting firm to set up a presence there. So Armenia has regulators. Dubai, regulators started getting in. So these are all providing us opportunities. And then obviously with the rise of NFTs, where for the first time I can have an asset that is digital, and that I can mathematically prove that the asset is digital and is unique. No more trying to argue at vernissage, trying to see if that painting is real or not. And what you have right now is it enables us to have these digital assets, unique assets, that are not only traceable, tradable, but also become immutable. The fact that when you have a university degree, try to get a certified true copy, and God forbid you have to go somewhere else in the world, try to get an apostille, complete nightmare. These are all things that I guarantee in the next couple of years, your university diplomas, to driver's licenses, to passport, will be issued with NFTs and will solve this problem. And obviously NFTs went through a long time, a big evolution. From this digital cat that was created in Toronto 2017 that is worth over $100,000 to actually obviously the evolution we've had of NFTs over the years, to the NBA, who probably popularized that, to even having digital pieces of art that are being sold. But what is important is, despite the fact that what happened with NFTs recently, where a lot of their values fell, NFTs are here to stay. And especially looking from a creative angle, uniqueness angle, and financial services angle, this provides a lot of opportunities. And it's really, I want you to bring it all together, especially with AI. On top of this, we have all these developments that are coming one after the other, especially with AI developments as well, that when we think about the future of finance, it is DeFi, the developments, with NFTs developments, with everything and coming in together, that provides us 1 + 1 = 3 relationship. And the question is, what opportunities does it provide to us as a country? I can tell you today, some of the leading Metaverse companies in the world are actually in Armenia. A lot of the biggest crypto companies, a lot of their dev team, a lot of activity is happening here. I was mentioning at the beginning that I believe that our secret weapon as a country is Armenian women. The day after the war, I was probably one of the few people who set up a company here, where we are now the #1 provider in the world of crypto compliance and customer support services. And I'm proud to say that 68% of our management are women, and 62% of our team are female, and I hope one day we can even bring it up to closer to 100. Guys, and again, like I mentioned before, anybody tells you they're an expert on this, that things are moving very quickly, but I hope today I was able to share with you guys some of the developments happening in this space. And hopefully this is a topic you can spend a bit more time looking at it. If you want to follow me, guys, a lot of stuff. I have a lot of books online. I have a lot of content, also on social media as well. It was a pleasure being with you all today. Thank you very much, Yerevan, and thank you very much, FemInno, as well. Great to be with you all. Thank you very much.